New York City Reloader here. Figured I'd take you on a run of my Dillon 650, and what I'm doing now is I'm using my system to go ahead and prep brass today. And one of the beautiful things about this new Dillon xl650 with the case trimmer is that I can do all my prep work in one step. So typically when you're reloading, you have to obviously do a first rinse or wash of your brass casings. After you do that, you need to dry them, and after you dry them, you need to swage them, you need to decap them, you need to reform them obviously through the decapping and resizing process. After that's done, the next step that you have to do is you have to swage them and make sure the primers that were in there that were popped out that might have been military crimps, you want to be able to remove those. And after you do that, then you have to trim them. It's a lot of work. It's manual. It's fun. I like doing it manually too. But since I'm mass producing 223 these days, I wanted to make sure that I could do it a lot better and a lot more efficient. So I've broken down my reloading to a washing, prepping, cases step, and then finally into the reloading step. So this is part one of reloading on the Dillon. And this first part is the case prep. Again, we've washed the cases, and we're going to now tumble them, wash them. They're done, dry them out, and once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and load them into Dillon in a case trimmer with swaging and all of that crap. Okay, a little about my setup here. Obviously, I've got a vacuum cleaner, and that's got a hose that's going up to the trimmer. That's the Dillon trimmer there, and I've got my cases set up in my case feeder up top. You can see this little mirror up there, so you can see there's cases in there. And what I'm doing now, you can see that I've got my system set up. There's no primer in here. I've added my little swage unit here, and this is the swage it, which I popped onto my Dillon, and the empty primers here will pop into here. So every time I pull the handle, once I turn the case trimmer on, it will essentially decap in this station here up top. Okay, it'll essentially decap here in this first station and move into the priming station, which is now set up with a swager instead of a primer. So that primer system has been moved, and now a swage has been put in its place. So that'll swage the military cases and make them so I can reload a standard primer in it. Above that also I have a camera, and that camera is sitting up there in an old 12 gauge case and popping through the top. And then obviously I can see inside my cases. I've got my little iPad set up here, so my iPad can show me the inside of the cases. So I'll go ahead and start the process and give you a show how it works. Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and start. Let me go ahead and pull the handle, and when I pull the handle, it's going to pull in a new piece of brass, obviously, like it normally does. And it'll deprime and move to the next station. You can hear the trim, just trimmed one. Normally I have the vacuum cleaner going on, but then you wouldn't be able to hear it. And now I've just pushed this forward on the handle and embedded into the case itself. Now when I pull this up, you'll be able to see this on my... Okay, so as I pull the handle back, you can actually see inside my cases. And I can see a couple things. One is I can see that there's no primer in there, and two is I can see the case is free of any junk or issues or problems within the case. So I'll pull it back. It'll obviously move on to the next station, and the next station would be where the bullet seating is, so there's nothing happening in that one. And then when I pull this thing back, it's going to actually go into my case trimmer, and you'll hear it trim if there's any trimming that needs to be done. So at this point, I've got a bunch of 222 cases. I just did 500, trimming them on there. Again, I've done all the decapping, resizing, swaging, and trimming on the Dillon xl650. So you're talking about 3 or 4 steps combined. So it's progressive case preparation is the most important thing, I guess I would call it. Again, I can do all these things, and I often do decap and resize on a single stage press. But it's a lot easier to do it on the Dillon. So you just have to take a little time to set it up. Once you get it set up, you can then go ahead and move the reloading head out and slide the case preparation head into the Dillon unit. once all that's done, because I've trimmed the heads, I've gone ahead and put them inside my Franken Arsenal wet tumbler, and I do a final wash on them with the pins and with the Lemmy Shine and a little bit of Joy detergent soap, and just go through one more cleaning process, and then I'll put them on my dryer, and that will dry them out. So that process probably saved me about 3 or 4 hours processing 1,000 rounds. So I can do that same thing probably about 2 hours. Get the cases from start to finish and start loading. So I can knock out about 2,000 rounds in about 2 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, depending on the speed. It's not about speed; it's about quality, obviously.